folks, I've got one to read for you today, so I'm going to put the bins on in a minute. I'm sorry you'll get the glare back. I thought this was interesting. You might be interested, you might not. If not, just pass along. It's about Christmas number ones. There's a big thing of getting the number one at Christmas, the number one single. There always has been, even from when I was a kid. I used to look forward to it. I used to love waiting for the Christmas number one. Would it be Slade, Sweet, Mud, The Rubettes? Who would it be? Used to love it. Really enjoyed it. Loved it when Benny Hill made it. You remember that? Benny Hill. Oh, Ernie. What a crackerjack of a song that is. Crackerjack of a song. We don't hear it enough. Anyway, I read something today from yesterday's paper about Christmas number ones. And most of it surprised me, so I thought I'd read it to you. Because a lot of you won't know these facts. As I say, you might be interested. You might not, but I'll tell you anyway. It was also saying, I think there's about 3 singles up for number one this year. I think George Michael's trying to do it again. Well, George isn't, but his fans are. He made it last year. This year it's 40 years after the song was released, The Old Last Christmas. I mentioned it the other day on here that they had a programme about it. I think it was on the Beeb, over the weekend. We covered it. Good programme. I enjoyed it. They mentioned 2 others. I can't remember what they are. I've been thinking all week, what about that Band-Aid? I thought they'd done that again to try and raise some funds and to get to number one. Did it ever get to number one? Did they release it too early? Has it just died a death? I don't follow the charts anymore. I used to know, middle of the week, I'd know what was number 1, 2, 3, 4. I used to know all that when I was a kid. Used to love it all. You know the days when you had the old tape recorder and you tape record the old top 30? Oh, I did that. Just like Peter Kay. And I used to pause it. I had a pause button for the adverts. Or when the DJ came in, then take the pause off and carry on. Oh, seamless. It was brilliant. Took a good while to do, but I enjoyed it. We all did. We're all a bit weird that way, weren't we? We were a bit weird. Anyway, I don't care as much nowadays. I don't follow it as much nowadays. Although, I do tend to know who's number one. I do hear about it. At least it's not going to be that fella singing about sausage rolls again. Anyway, that's a break. And it's not an X Factor one. So all of them are bonuses in my book. But let me read you this. A lot of it's fascinating, to be honest with you. Right, the first Christmas number one, here, should I say, was Here in My Heart by American bricklayer to nightclub singer Al Martino. It topped the chart for 9 weeks in 1952. The first Christmas theme number one was Christmas Alphabet, sung by Dickie Valentine. I've heard of him, don't know him, which topped the charts in 1955. The first religious one was the 1957's Mary's Boy Child by Harry Belafonte. Oh, I remember hearing about that one. Remember that, it was before my time. It was the first song to top the Christmas charts with 2 different versions, as Boney M took it to number 1 in 1978. I remember that version. Oh, I do. Oh, I'm a 70s child, me. Or musically anyway. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen was number 1 in 1975 and 1991. The Beatles topped the chart for 3 years in a row, 1963 to 1965, with I Wanna Hold Your Hand, I Feel Fine, and with the double A-sided Day Tripper and We Can Work It Out. After missing out on the 1966 top spot when they were beaten by Tom Jones's Green, Green Grass of Home, the Fab Four were back in 1967 with Hello, Goodbye. It wasn't much after that. They were saying goodbye to us all. Right, the triple Christmas number one was repeated by, can't believe this, the Spice Girls in 1996, 97 and 98. That record was beaten by Lad Baby, who had it for 5 consecutive years from 2018 to 2022. Lad Baby is the pseudonym of Mark Hoyle, who performs songs about sausage rolls. I'd rather eat them than sing about them myself, but that's just me. You don't get a figure like me singing about sausage rolls. You eat them, and you eat more than one at a time. Right, last year, Wham finally hit the top spot with Last Christmas, 39 years after it was released, and 7 years after the death of George Michael, aged 53. I couldn't believe it when I read it was 7 years since he died. I remember it like it was yesterday, like it was 3 or 4 years ago. As I say, again, in brother-in-law's, ancestor-in-law's house there for our regular Christmas do on a Christmas night. We're not there this year. We're at the eldest this year and at their Ormskirk this year. We're having dinner with them, though. They've invited us around for dinner. the brother-in-law, sister-in-law, because we won't see them this year, but the first time in about 25 years we've not seen them on Christmas Day, or not Christmas night anyway, should I say. So we're around theirs for Christmas dinner, which is very nice of them, because they know we've just moved house, so we're all up in the air a bit, and then we're at the daughter's in that there Ormskirk Christmas night. We'll enjoy it, it'll be alright. But I must say, I like the hospitality in the old brother and sister-in-laws. Oh, they look after us there, they do. Not that the daughter won't look after us, but we like going to brother and sister-in-laws. Brother-in-law thinks he's Mickey Mouse, thinks he knows all about music. He knows almost as much as me, so he knows a lot, I must admit. But he's always turning that music up. Sister-in-law's always playing Holy Hell. He keeps turning it down, then when she walks out, turns it back up. And all night they play this game where it's up and down, up and down, up and down. It's mainly up. He likes it turned up, does brother-in-law. He does that, yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling that, but I'm telling you. Where was we up to? Wham, did we? Oh, yes. When it was released in 1984, it was kept off the top spot by Band-Aids' Do They Know It's Christmas? Well, we all know that. The first comedy number one was Lily the Pink in 1968 by The Scaffold, a group that included Paul McCartney's brother, Mike McGee. The backing vocals were provided by Graham Nash of the Hollies, see here, stuff you probably don't know, and Elton John, called at the time Reg Dwight, I'm sure you know that, I think most of us do, and Tim Rice. I didn't know Tim Rice did a bit of singing. 3 years later, another comedy song topped the Christmas chart when Benny Hill released Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West. Now, as I said, I mentioned that one before. I love that one. 2-ton test from Teddington. All that. I loved all that. It's in with the old crusty cob and whatever. Cracking song. Have you heard it, folks? If you've not, you must. No matter what your age is, go and have a look for Benny Hill singing Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West. Was that the full title? Yes, of course it was. And if you already knew it like me, go and listen to it again. I listened to it about 18 months ago for the first time in about 20 years. I've listened to it a couple of times since. I'll make sure I listen to it this week now I've just mentioned it, because I think it's a belting song. It's really, really, really funny. I think it's brilliant. I don't know how Benny came up with the words to that, and I just think it's absolutely brilliant. It really is. I mean, Peter Kay's one did great with Ronnie Back and all that, doing the old Amarillo, and the video behind it was great, and all the stars, and then Bobby Davro. I love the Bobby Davro line. Loved it. But but I'm telling you now, nowhere near as good as Ernie. Nowhere near as good. Unbelievable that was. Right. Was Bobby Dabro in that Peter Kay one? I was in the one Proclaimer. Anyway, does it matter? I've probably done wrong again. See, this is what you get with no script. Right. The first posthumous. I know what it is and I know what it means and I know how to say it normally. Posthumous. The first number one after a bloke died, or somebody died, was Reet Petite in 1966 by Jackie Wilson. Look-a-bye, hey. That might not have been Reet Petite, but I know it's one of Jackie's, that one. He died 2 years earlier. 2 fictional characters have been on the Christmas number one. Mr. Blobby in 1993 and Bob the Builder's Can We Fix It in 2000. Who would have bought them 2 piles of crap? I don't know, but people did, obviously. In 2005, Shane Ward was the first Christmas number one resulting from The X Factor. In 2009, Rage Against the Machines, Killing the Name, was the first download-only single to get to number one and was a result of an internet campaign to stop The X Factor from topping the charts for the 5th year in a row. Well, it's good that they stopped that, but downloads I don't get. Rage Against the Machine, I don't really know them, and it probably didn't deserve to be number one. But I suppose the upside is they weren't singing about sausage rolls. The 2024 Christmas number one will be announced tomorrow. Well, I think that is today, because that was yesterday's paper. So, folks, you're watching this, you might already know what it is. I don't, because I've been doing this for the last couple of hours, and I'll be doing it for another half an hour yet. But, no doubt later today, I'll find out what it is. And that's where we're at. Just thought to tell you. I thought that was pretty interesting when I read it, so I read it to you. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I do apologise, but I tried to make this channel about loads and loads of different things, loads of different subjects, anything that takes my interest. I think it might take somebody's out there, so I say it. Say what you see, that's what I do.